The original Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare is a classic game full of amazing missions and moments. Now that Infinity Ward has given it the reboot treatment, the Leaderboard is bringing you 107 facts about the all-new Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Press F to pay respects, and press the subscribe button to help me pay my bills, okay? Number 1. Let's start with the elephant in the room, the name. The team reused the title Modern Warfare for this installment because they see it as a soft reboot of the series. It's set to focus more on emotion and repercussions than just shooting enemies. Number 2. Modern Warfare introduces a new game mechanic called Super Sprint. If you feel you're moving too slow, you can run extra fast by tapping the sprint button twice. There is a catch though. You won't have your weapon ready if you bump into an enemy. Number 3. The Gunsmith is all new to Modern Warfare. It allows players to customize their main and secondary weapons with whatever firepower they might need in multiplayer, and each gun has space for 5 upgrades. Number 4. The Gunsmith is no slouch when it comes to customization. Rather than just a few simple alterations or attachments, Modern Warfare has 30 to 60 possible mods for most weapons. Number 5. 2 new modes were added to Modern Warfare, Gunfight and Ground War. Gunfight mode is a 2-on-2 single spawn deathmatch. Both teams start on opposite sides of the map with randomly selected loadouts, and the first team to win 6 rounds claims victory. Ground War, on the other hand, is a big face-off in large environments, similar to Conquest mode from Battlefield. Number 6. Ground War pits teams of 32 against each other in a single massive map. It's basically a big domination match with 5 points instead of 3. You're put in squads of 4 and can spawn on both your teammates and on control points that your team holds. It also introduces vehicles like helicopters and tanks. Number 7. Modern Warfare has 3 different multiplayer map sizes. There is close quarters gunfight maps, mid-size maps for more traditional 6v6 and 10v10 matches, and giant maps are for the large game types like Ground War. Number 8. Players can acquire an unlockable cosmetic watch for their character to equip. Unfortunately, you can't unlock them just by playing the game. You'll need to get coupon codes. For example, 2 Totino's codes will get you the ever-exclusive Totino's watch. Number 9. These watches are on your operator's wrist during matches, and it has a specific gesture called check watch that raises it to the screen to give you a closer look. It also tells the actual real-life time, as you'd hope a watch would do. Number 10. Modern Warfare takes itself very seriously, but at least it has the lighthearted Tamagotchi. It's a clear parody of the Tamagotchi virtual pet toys. You can equip the Tamagotchi to your wristwatch and feed it by getting more multiplayer kills. Number 11. Some of the Killstreak Awards include Juggernaut assault gear, an infantry assault tank with a machine gun, and an aircraft that sprays white phosphorus. There's also classics like the Chopper Gunner and VTOL jet. Number 12. The Tactical Nuke also returns, giving players the opportunity to end a match in one fell atomic swoop. This time around, you don't even need to equip it. The nuke is automatically awarded to any player who gets a kill streak of 25 using their basic kit. Kills with other kill streaks don't count. Number 13. Starting a multiplayer match has some added flair. In past titles, you just appear on the map motionless, waiting for a timer to count down to 0. But now, there's all kinds of introductory animations, like rappelling out of a helicopter. It just makes you feel that much more immersed. Number 14. Players can customize how their character looks in multiplayer with operators. They're not just eye-catching skins, they let you play as a totally unique character, complete with dialogue and special executions. Don't worry though, they're totally cosmetic and don't have any special abilities or anything like that. Number 15. Every faction has their own group of operators, and you can unlock them by completing certain challenges across all of Modern Warfare's modes. For example, you unlock Wyatt by completing the Wolf's Den in the campaign, but you unlock Charlie just by playing 25 public matches in multiplayer. Number 16. When Modern Warfare's multiplayer beta dropped, tons of players were thrown by the lack of a minimap. All they had was a compass at the top of the screen, kinda like the one in Skyrim. After fans made enough noise, Infinity Ward put the minimap back in, but the red dots marking enemy players only appear when the UAV killstreak is active. Number 17. Even though enemies won't normally appear as red blips on the minimap, you'll always know where your teammates are. Members of your squad will always have an outline, even when they're obstructed by walls. Number 18. In the Gunsmith, players can access weapon blueprints to make modding a bit easier. Blueprints are unlockable, and so players can get weapons beyond their level. Sometimes they even come with fancy skins and attachments. You get blueprints by completing missions and multiplayer challenges. Number 19. You can create a bunch of secret weapons using the Gunsmith. For example, you create the AK-74U and the RPK from the base AK-47, and you can create the good old M16 from the base M4A1 by unlocking the attachments for it. Number 20. In Modern Warfare, players can now mount their gun on a variety of surfaces, from a barrier to a box to the corner of a wall. Doing so allows for more accuracy while firing, but you turn yourself into a stationary target. Number 21. Modern Warfare introduces field upgrades to the game, which are kind of similar to the specialist abilities from Black Ops. There's 9 of them, ranging from an ammo box which refills all of your ammo, to dead silence which muffles your footsteps significantly, and it should be a perk. There's also stopping power rounds, which lets you load a magazine of extra damaging bullets. Number 22. Infinity Ward basically overhauled the level progression system from previous games. Players level up their rank from 1 to 55 by earning XP, but once you hit level 55, you unlock the first seasonal officer rank. The level cap skyrockets to 155, and players have access to a slew of new rewards and challenges, including a special seasonal emblem. At the end of every season, the rank resets to 55. Number 23. You can level up your weapons too. Leveling your weapon unlocks tons of different attachments, including reticles, barrels, grips, handles, and more. more. Weapons can be leveled up to 50 to 71, depending on what class of weapon it is. For example, the max level of the SCAR assault rifle is 65, but the max level of the MP7 submachine gun is 54. Number 24. Prestige mode is no longer a thing, but the new seasonal ranks will give players tons of incentive to keep racking up the kills. Number 25. The potential Battle Royale mode might have its own spin called the Gulag. Here's how it would work. When you die in the Battle Royale, if you or someone on your team has a respawn token, they can take your body to an ambulance. From there, you get sent to the Gulag to win your way back into the match via a 1v1 fight. Only 2 players fight at any given time while the rest wait in a queue. Number 26. If you win your Gulag match, you won't just automatically have all your stuff equipped. You'll have to find a mobile armory so you can outfit yourself with your old loadout. Number 27. Oh, and supposedly, this Battle Royale mode will support up to 200 people in a single match. That is wild. Number 28. For all the new stuff added to multiplayer and the other modes, Modern Warfare has kept some tried and true stuff too. Like in multiplayer, deathmatch and domination modes are still available. Number 29. There are a total of 12 game modes to choose from in Modern Warfare across multiplayer, single player, and co-op. These range from the returning deathmatch mode, to gun game, to cyber attack, to a dedicated night vision goggles mode. Number 30. If you hit level 155 this season, you'll be able to unlock the OG blueprint. That's the original and fan favorite M16 from Call of Duty 4. Number 31. As you almost definitely know, Call of Duty has been around for over 15 years. Specifically, Modern Warfare 2019 is the 16th installment in the series, a far cry from the original 2003 game set during World War II. Number 32. According to studio art director Joel Emsley, Modern Warfare is more realistic and mature than past installments. This extends to graphics, game mechanics, and sounds, which were all modified to reflect a more mature narrative. Number 33. The game's realism was a response to the bombastic, escalating nature of other shooter games. Jacob Minkoff, the campaign gameplay director, said that you can't just keep turning the dial past 11, and it was time to make the game more cinematic and impactful. Number 34. Modern Warfare doesn't shy away from real-world tragedies of the past few years. The developers wanted to use Modern Warfare to provide catharsis and let players feel like they're fighting against those injustices. Number 35. Minkoff and narrative director Taylor Kurosaki have mentioned that movies like American Sniper and Zero Dark 30, films about real-life military operations, were models for what they were trying to capture in their game. Number 36. Parts of Modern Warfare were so emotionally resonant that multiple playtesters cried during certain missions in the game. Number 37. The game takes place in a fictional nation called Urzikstan. The team chose to create a fictional Middle Eastern nation to avoid representing any real-world conflict, and instead just convey the vibe of modern conflict and wars. Number 38. Infinity Ward wanted negative actions in Modern Warfare to have real-time consequences. According to Jacob Minkoff, if you comport yourself in a way not befitting a soldier, the game will fail you. Maybe this means 13-year-olds in the multiplayer lobbies will be nicer to me now. Number 39. Doing things like shooting civilians can elicit different reactions from your squad mates in the game. If an action is over the line, but understandable, dialogue with the other characters will branch accordingly, and they'll also call you out for doing something immoral. Number 40. According to Emsley and Minkoff, the team also wanted to explore the moral gray area of war. In Modern Warfare, and of course in real-life Modern War, one person's freedom fighter is another person's terrorist, and there are characters in the game who sit on all sides. Number 41. The game engine for Modern Warfare is all new and was in development for 5 years, with the developers planning for it to be used in future games in the series. It's the first time Infinity Ward has used a new engine for Call of Duty in almost 14 years. Number 42. The Modern Warfare engine was designed overseas by a specialized team in Krakow, Poland. The team spent years working on it and will still be doing so even now that the game is out. Number 43. The new engine for the game allows for some really fine-tuned weapons control. Players can angle their weapons independently of the direction of their character's body, so they can better use cover while firing. Number 44. Modern Warfare is the first game in the franchise to fully support crossplay across every available platform: PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Number 45. The production served as a sort of reunification for the developers. After the 2 founders of Infinity Ward were fired, they took a good chunk of the studio with them and formed Respawn Entertainment in 2010. You know, they made Titanfall, Apex Legends, and the new Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. But for Modern Warfare, much of the team from Respawn returned to Infinity Ward, which shows the positive direction the production was going in. Number 46. To ensure authenticity, Infinity Ward had Middle Eastern consultants on staff, who reviewed the script and the use of the Arabic language. There were also dialogue coaches on set during motion capture sessions. Number 47. Every gun in the game has something called a penetration value. This means that every round of ammunition will affect every material differently, from crappy cardboard to wooden veneer doors to brick walls. That also means you can't just break through everything by shooting it. Number 48. The game punishes players for being sloppy during missions in a different, more nuanced way than past installments. The side characters will chew you out when civilians are hurt or killed, and there's also a collateral damage score for each mission, rewarding the player for being accurate in their threat assessments. Number 49. Collateral damage is scored on a grading scale of A through F. To get an A, the player has to kill no innocent people and correctly evaluate all unknown NPCs as threats or innocents. But killing more than 3 unknowns results in an automatic F. Number 50. An unknown is an NPC who hasn't proven whether they're a threat or not, meaning that the player must use their instincts to determine whether they're friend or foe. Not everyone in front of you is an enemy. Number 51. Infinity Ward went to great lengths to ensure authenticity. For the Townhouse mission, for example, the breach and clear tactics used by the team were done by real soldiers in motion capture. Number 52. The team specifically had 2 retired Navy SEALs as consultants, Steve Sanders and Mitch Hall. They reviewed relevant scenes of the game to make sure they matched up with actual tactics that Navy SEALs would use in real situations. Number 53. In Modern Warfare single-player campaign, players control 2 different characters. There's a CIA officer simply named Alex, and the British SAS sergeant Kyle Garrick. Number 54. Captain Price is voiced and motion captured by Barry Sloane. Sloane did his homework for the part. In addition to playing the previous games, he also dressed up as the character during a photo shoot. Number 55. Barry Sloane replaces Billy Murray, no relation, who played Captain Price in previous Modern Warfare games. Sloane is a British actor and originally rose to fame as a soap opera actor. Number 56. We all know Captain Price from the Modern Warfare trilogy, but a different version of the character actually appeared in the first 2 Call of Duty games. This guy's been around as long as the franchise itself. Number 57. The team really paid attention to all the little details in Modern Warfare. Discerning players will see that the laser sights, for example, move independently of the actual aiming reticule. Number 58. To make the items in the game as realistic as possible, Infinity Ward used a process called Photogrammetry. A cage of steel on a white platform gets draped with cables connecting tons of cameras and flashbulbs. Those cameras then capture a photo of an object from every angle to render it in the game. Number 59. Photogrammetry sounds like a pain to set up, but it was sometimes easier than the alternative. According to Joel Emsley, building a character from scratch can take up to 6 weeks, especially adding all the small details and bits of wear and tear. But using a real item with actual wear and tear is easier and takes way less time. Number 60. Emsley said that using real props, items, or costumes for the photogrammetry helped the creators delve deeper into Modern Warfare's universe. He compared the vibe of the real-world objects to those used by Industrial Light and Magic, you know, the studio that did the effects in Star Wars and a bunch of other stuff too. Number 61. Getting some of the props made for a weird experience. Infinity Ward sent some of their staff to a hardware store to buy suspicious items to replicate an improvised bomb. Another time, they almost brought in a used mattress off the side of the road, but ended up scanning it in a backlot instead. Scabbies averted, thank God. Number 62. Bad news for you Black Ops fans, Modern Warfare doesn't have a zombies mode. According to Jacob Minkoff, the out-there quality of the zombies mode from past games didn't fit in with the company's desire to make a more realistic game and narrative. Number 63. The game's lighting is actually a really big deal. The new engine uses new spectral rendering technology, which allows for improved and more detailed night vision and thermal imaging. Number 64. Night vision sequences proved to be especially time-consuming to get right. The design team spent a year and a half trying to get those scenes correct, trying to capture as much realism as possible. Number 65. The night vision was done differently than it was in past games. Instead of simply tinting everything green like they'd done for the older games, the team fully rendered the infrared spectrum. According to principal rendering engineer Mikhail Drobot, they spoke to military consultants and tested night vision devices from different eras. Number 66. In multiplayer, there's a new mode where all the lights are out, and the teams have to battle each other in total darkness. Of course, everyone automatically gets night vision goggles too. Number 67. NVG mode doesn't just let players sneak around scot-free. All weapons are automatically equipped with lasers too. When you enter the aim down sights mode, the weapon's laser sight activates, which is a dead giveaway in night vision mode, alerting enemies to your position. Number 68. Modern Warfare features an all-new Realism Mode. In this difficulty setting, all on-screen information is removed. This means players have to really pay attention to their surroundings to know if they're out of ammo or if enemies are nearby. Number 69. PC and Xbox players have to wait a bit longer for some features. Spec-ops Survival Mode won't be available on PC until a year after the game's release. Due to Activision and Sony's partnership with the franchise, PS4 is the only place where the mode can be played. Number 70. The score for Modern Warfare was composed by Sarah Schachner, who also worked on Assassin's Creed Origins and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. The producer for the score was Mike Dean. He's worked with big names like Kanye West and Travis Scott. Schachner and Dean primarily collaborated on the music for multiplayer. Number 71. Schachner's score isn't what you'd call traditional. In addition to using ethnic string instruments, the music incorporates a variety of genres and instruments to create a unique and specialized sound. Number 72. The instruments were recorded in different or unusual ways to make the right atmosphere. Cellos and basses, for example, were closely mic'd, distorted, and otherwise time-stretched to create, as Schachner calls it, an F-up kind of sound. Number 73. Schachner wrote 2.5 hours of music, and the score that she and Mike Dean created can be played for 30 minutes of gameplay without getting repetitive because of how it's triggered for different situations. Number 74. The collaboration on the score came about because Schachner wanted a different vibe for the multiplayer music compared to what she'd done for the rest of the game. Initially, she wanted it to be percussion heavy, or to add a different instrument, but then she thought of recruiting Mike Dean. Number 75. Modern Warfare has a silly Easter egg about Activision itself. In an early mission set in London, there's a bunch of scattered debris in an electronics store. Among the debris, there's an Activision video game console with a wild-looking twin analog gamepad. In the Call of Duty universe, the game publisher made a console and called it the Activbase. Number 76. Another Easter egg is a callback to a past game in the series. There's a box labeled Zakhaev Arms, as in Zakhaev, the main villain from 2007's Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. Number 77. Because this is a soft reboot, that means the events of the original Modern Warfare games basically didn't happen. At least they aren't canon. Number 78. In the gunfight map Hill, at about 150 degrees, players can see a patch of similar-looking white trees in the distance. Next to the tree, closest to the edge of the cliff, there's a shimmering outline of the Predator. And no, we're not talking about UAVs here. Number 79. There was also a really surprising It reference in the 2v2 gunfight alpha on the map Docks. There's a sewer grate just behind the spawn point. and if the player goes up to the gate, they can spot an iconic bright red balloon emerging from its dark depths. Number 80. Early into the game's release, there were some secrets on the Modern Warfare maps that players think indicate future content. The Tarvusk District map is visible while playing on the Krovnik Farmland Ground War map, so some players speculate that Tarvusk might be in the rumored Battle Royale mode. Number 81. The game has already been subject to some controversy. A mission called Highway of Death features members of the Russian military going after escaping civilians. It's eerily similar to how the US military went after fleeing Iraqi troops in Kuwait in 1991, an incident that's also known as the Highway of Death. The change in nationalities resulted in Modern Warfare getting review bombed on Metacritic. Number 82. Modern Warfare isn't available to players everywhere. In Russia, you can't get physical copies or purchase it from the PlayStation Store. Number 83. Highway of Death mission aside, plenty of people have criticized Modern Warfare as anti-Russian propaganda. The Russian villains of the game are depicted as absolutely ruthless. Number 84. Modern Warfare hit a number of milestones. Namely, it's the best-selling premium game released in 2019, and also sold more units in its first 3 days than any other Call of Duty game released in its console generation. Number 85. Modern Warfare had the best digital opening in Activision history. It's also the most digitally pre-ordered game on PC ever, and, craziest of all, it has more total hours played and more total players than any Call of Duty game in 6 years. Number 86. The game made $600 million in sales within its first 3 days. The only games to do better are Red Dead Redemption 2 at $725 million and GTA 5 with $1 billion. At that rate, Modern Warfare could have the 5th best opening sales of all time. Number 87. Unlike similar games, Modern Warfare doesn't have a season pass. Activision stated that the team wanted to eliminate season passes so they could instead provide more free maps, content, and post-launch events to all players. Number 88. Instead of a season pass, Modern Warfare will have a battle pass system. The battle pass allows players to see the content that they're earning or buying, and it also didn't launch with the game on October 25th. That way, players could simply focus on playing. What that content is, we'll just have to wait and see. Number 89. Compared to past installments, Modern Warfare has a few different options for co-op play. The Special Ops co-op mode has 3 subtypes: multi-stage outing with customizable loadouts called Operations, shorter time stages that can be played over and over called Missions, and the wave-based co-op mode called Survival. Number 90. Thankfully, Modern Warfare doesn't have loot boxes, at least for the time being. Number 91. Players have 3 different digital editions of Modern Warfare to choose from: Standard, Operator, and Operator Enhanced. The Operator Enhanced version has most goodies bundled into it, including the War Pig Pack, the Crew Expendable Pack, the All Gillied Up Pack, and the XRK Weapons Pack. Oh, and you also get an extra 3,000 COD points, which is their in-game currency to spend once that store and Battle Pass system are in place. Number 92. The Battle Pass for Modern Warfare is not fully detailed, but it will have a free and premium track for players to earn rewards from. And we also know it's been delayed till December. Hopefully they treat new weapons like they did in Infinite Warfare, because we do not need a repeat of Black Ops 4's weapon system. Number 93. People who got physical copies also had their pick of special editions. There was the Standard Base Edition, and the Precision Edition that included a pair of performance thumbsticks and a controller skin. There's also the $200 Dark Edition that comes with the XRK, War Pig, Crew Expendable, and All Gillied Up packs, and a functioning pair of night vision goggles. Number 94. Infinity Ward didn't develop Modern Warfare all on their own. They got some help from other studios, including Beanox, High Moon, Raven, and even veteran Call of Duty studio Sledgehammer Games. Number 95. Once Modern Warfare came out, Infinity got right to work on updating it. An early patch fixed the infamous 725 shotgun. On launch, this thing had seemingly unlimited range, but it's been changed to have a bigger spread and reduced damage range. Number 96. Infinity Ward also added the classic multiplayer mode called Hardpoint. Both teams have to try and take control over a specific location that changes every 60 seconds. It's basically just King of the Hill. Both teams fight for control of the point. Number 97. Modern Warfare features one of the first female main characters in a Call of Duty game, named Farah Karim. Farah was a victim of war violence as a child, and is now a leader in the Urzikistani Liberation Force. Number 99. The first time players control Farah, she's a child fighting for her life with her brother, trying to escape the clutches of their captor. While many people praised the scene's tension, they also criticized the fact that such a harrowing experience was boiled down to basic boss fight cues, like attack them 3 times then hide. Number 99. Captain Price isn't the only returning character. There's also Kyle Garrick. Remember him? He's that member of the British SAS in the first Modern Warfare game who gets killed by Zakhaev, but you probably know him better as Gaz. Number 100. Nikolai is also back. In the original Modern Warfare, Nikolai helped Task Force 141 by supplying intel about the ultranationalists, and he eventually had to be extracted by Price's squad when his cover was blown. It's very likely he'll return for some Modern Warfare sequels. Number 101. Unlike past Call of Duty games, cutscenes are shot more like a traditional movie, so to keep the player engaged with the character they'll be controlling, the game's camera tracks in on them until the world is in first person again. Number 102. One of the first scenes shown from the game was the Piccadilly Circus sequence. It involves a terrorist cell being intercepted by a team of British police and SAS, which leads to a devastating terrorist attack. Number 103. The main villain of Modern Warfare 2019 is named General Roman Barkov. His character was largely inspired by Marlon Brando's General Kurtz from Apocalypse Now. Number 104. At the end of the game, Captain Price talks to CIA agent Kate Laswell, showing her his plans to form Task Force 141. So yes, the 141 will definitely get rebooted in the new Modern Warfare canon. Number 105. Classic characters General Shepard and Simon Ghost Riley both get name dropped. Ghost is mentioned as a potential member of 141, while Agent Laswell mentions being in contact with Shepard about anti-terrorism operations. Since both characters are back, we may have to relive that ultimate betrayal for Modern Warfare 2. Here's hoping to a new story though. I cannot go through that emotional turmoil again. Number 106. Khalid al-Assad and Sergeant Kamarov also briefly pop up. Kamarov appears in the Spec-ops mode, but al-Assad only gets a quick mention at the end of the game. We'll almost certainly see him again, which means Zakhaev might also be lurking in the shadows. Number 107. Of all the familiar name drops, the biggest bombshell has to be John Soap McTavish from the original Modern Warfare trilogy. Fans rejoice because it looks like Price is getting the whole band back together. I'm pumped to see how the rebooted story shakes out, but I also want to see what changes Infinity Ward makes to the multiplayer. They're always updating the game, so let me know what updates you want to see. And be sure to subscribe to the Leaderboard. From indie to AAA, we love the games you play. I've been your host Dan, thank you for watching.